Hello dear students, myself Sarvesh. I am going to teach biology, especially chapter 2, reproduction in flowering plant. Topic is fertilization in plants. You have already studied many topics from reproduction in flowering plants in previous classes by teachers. I am going to teach only reproduction in flowering plants. The topic is fertilization, which is popularly known as double fertilization. After that, how fruit is developed, how seed is developed, what is apomixis, what is polyembryony, and what is parthenocarpy. Beside this, we understand in this chapter dormancy. What is dormancy? How seed retain viabilities for many years, ranges from month to thousands of years with examples. Let us understand this topic from double fertilization event. You know that the plant is important for our daily life, and plant number should also increase day by day because it is beneficial for us. How plant increase their number? The question is this: how the plant increase their number? The answer behind this, because plant produce flower and they form seed. What happen in between these two process, flower formation and seed formation? If we study this detail about the topic, we find many answers regarding the questions like development of microsporangium, development of male gametophyte and male gamete, development of megasporangium, development of female gametophyte, female gamete. Then after we study pollination and then fertilization. The from topic I am going to start is fertilization process in plants. This is popularly known as double fertilization event. This is a fertilization in flowering plants. You know that in fertilization process, the male and female gamete fuse to form zygote. How male gamete reaches up to the female gamete? The primary question is this. The answer behind this: the male gamete reaches up to the female gamete, yani female reproductive part of the plants, is only by different method or different agencies, like by air, by water, by insect, and by many pollinating agents also. You have learning well it earlier by some teachers. Now this is a female reproductive part. The female reproductive parts carry style, stigma and ovary. Style, stigma, ovary. And ovary contain a structure is known as ovule. The pollen grain reaches up to stigma by agency, and after absorbing stigmatic fluid, the pollen is metabolically active and by absorbing stigmatic fluid it gets swell and germinate is pollen tube, and pollen tube start germinating. The pollen grain already contain two type of nucleus. First is a vegetative nucleus and second is a generative nucleus. The vegetative nucleus move at the with the tip of the pollen tube, and generative nucleus, by germinating pollen tube, it's divided into two tube nucleus. Two tube nucleus. This is a vegetative nucleus, and they start germinating, and this pollen tube reaches up to the ovule by carrying this both male gamete. Both male gamete inside the embryo sac. This is a, suppose this is a male gamete, and the vegetative nucleus that present on the tip of pollen tube is disintegrate near the tip of micropyle end of the ovule. Students, now we understand about the structure of ovule by large diagram. This is a structure of ovule. You study it previous classes, in previous classes by teachers. This is a antipodal, you know. This is a central cell. This is a egg, and egg supporting cell is known as synergid. The nature of all type of cells is the antipodal having haploid in nature, central cell is diploid in nature, egg is haploid in nature, and synergid also haploid in nature. The most common type of ovule in plants is anatropous ovule. It is just 7 cell and 8 nucleated. 7 cell and 8 nucleated, because you can count this by antipodal in 3 in numbers, central cell in 1 in number, that is a diploid in nature, because at the time of embryo sac development, you may read in previous by previous teachers that how central cell is formed. Central cell is formed by moving of one cell up from two side, micropylar and chalazial end into the central. So this is known as central cell because it is formed by fusion of two cells. If you not study it well in earlier classes, you will further study in next classes. Next, if you are going to prepare your medical examination or in other higher examinations also, you may understand in detail, because this topic is not fully studied, fully told up to class 12 students, because it is time taken process and it is not considered under the syllabus. This is a whole structure. This position is called micropyle. Micropyle. This is a chalazial end. Chalazial end. And this one is a outer integument, inner integument. You can say directly integumentary portion. Integuments. Now, when the pollen tube of the pollen grain move into the ovule or embryo sac, they release their both male gamete into the, before releasing both male gamete into the embryo sac, first question is arise, is pollen tube only enter through micropyle The answer is no. Then you may ask how? The anatomical studies of ovary shows that the pollen tube enter inside the ovule by three ways. First is porogamy. In this condition, pollen tube enter through the micropyle. Why this is more common? Because micropyle not having any additional covering, and this is the open portion, so the pollen tube enter directly through the micropyle. Second is mesogamy. In this, the pollen tube enter through the mid portion of the integument. And third is here by the integument. And third is the pollen tubes enter through the chalazial portion, because you know this is a integument, this is a chalazial end, this is a micropylar. So here the pollen tube directly enter through the chalazial portions. So this condition is called chalazogamy. Here pollen tube enter through the chalaza. This is the three way by which pollen tube enter into the embryo sac. Now after entry through the micropyle, then it degenerate one of the synergid cell, because it is a passage, you can say that synergid in the way of pollen tube entry. Here the vegetative nucleus disintegrated and the two male gametes released inside the embryo sac. Let us understand these two male gamete, a tube nucleus inside the embryo sac. Here this is a tube nucleus. You can say this is a tube nucleus, here male gamete. You can say directly male gamete. One male gamete fused with egg and another male gamete fused with central cell. The male gamete fused with egg, this process is called syngamy. This process, the male gamete fused with egg, both are haploid in nature, to form zygote. This process, this is a diploid in nature. This process is called syngamy. What? Syngamy. And another male gamete fused with another male gamete fused with central cell. You know that the central cell is diploid in nature and the male gamete is haploid in nature. Both fuse to form primary endosperm nucleus. Yeah, in short this is called PEN, P-E-N, or another word is used for primary endosperm nucleus is endosperm mother cell. This word is used in higher classes, is not used in class 12 standard book. The primary endosperm nucleus or PEN. This male gamete fusion with central cell diploid nature, male gamete haploid in nature, to form endosperm nucleus, primary endosperm nucleus. The process is called triple fusion. This process is called triple fusion. Before start of lectures, we already told you the plant shows fertilization process, especially double fertilization. The double fertilization process is this: syngamy and triple fusion. Here are not a single male gamete fused with egg. Here the one male gamete fused with egg, syngamy, and another male gamete fused with central cell, triple fusion. Both syngamy and triple fusion is considered as double fertilization event. What? Double fertilization event. Yeah, double fertilization. Double fertilization in angiosperm was discovered by S.G. Namaschin. What? S.G. Namaschin. This may ask many years ago, about in 2000, in 1999, this question in PMT: who discovered double fertilization event? This is a medical objective point of view से important questions है. Now, how after fertilization? The question is arise: is after fertilization the process is closed? The answer is no, because you know that again the process start is known as post fertilization event. Post fertilization event. In post fertilization event, the primary endosperm nucleus, or you can say PEN, or endosperm mother cell, another name, the primary endosperm nucleus develop to form endosperm. This is a highly metabolically active cells having rich nutrients. This is formed by supporting cells of zygote development, that is embryogenesis. In development of primary endosperm nucleus, when they form in mass number, after this the zygote start germinating. Zygote start germinating to form embryo. You know that plant is many type: monocot, dicot. The monocot develop to form monocot embryo, dicot plant develop from the dicot embryo. In many cases, the endosperm that develop from primary endosperm nucleus totally used up by the developing embryo, but in some cases this is not fully used up. This is persistence through the seed. We may understand this by examples. Yeah, you can say the NCERT page number 38 of NCERT. The example is given. Now, further we are going to study the post fertilization event. Post fertilization event. The name indicate post fertilization event, means event after fertilization. This is called post fertilization. You know that primary endosperm nucleus is formed, zygote is formed, ovule also persist, ovary also persist. Through the 12 standard book, the primary endosperm nucleus developed to form endosperm. This is a rich nutritive cells and metabolically cells. Endosperm having rich nutritive and metabolically active cells. Endosperm, after endosperm development, the zygote start develop to form embryo. In embryo development, the energy supplied by the endosperm cell, and by getting overall stimulus, ovule same time start developing to form seed, and ovary start developing to form fruit. Question may arise in lower classes, how seed is formed? The answer is, seed is formed by the ovule. Yep, from the ovule. Another question, how fruit is formed? The answer is, fruit is formed from the ovary. But some exception is also given in this. Some seed is developed from ovule, but it is not necessary they are fertilized, because hybrid seed production industry, the primary requirement to develop how apomictic seed. Apomictic we study in next next classes. Ovary, how fruit is developed, from ovary, but all fruit is not developed from ovary. Some exception is also given in this. Example, apple, that are developed from the thalamus. Beside this, if you search up which fruit is developed other than ovary, you may find a series of examples, the development of fruit other than ovary. Now, this developmental process, how endosperm develop, is not given up in 12 standard. The development process is not given. How zygote is developed to form embryo, this is also not given, but picture is given but not summarized in NCERT. We directly understand about what is a dicot embryo, what is the structure of dicot embryo, what is structure of endosperm. Endosperm structure is not needed in class 12 NCERT. How seed is developed, seed structure is given in next. Now this is a fruit. First is endosperm. You may know that in NCERT also given. The endosperm developed by three type of endosperm development. First is a nuclear endosperm. This is how nucleosperm developed. Is not given detail in NCERT. You may further study if you are going to you prepare for a NEET examination. Second is what is a halobial endosperm, and third is cellular endosperm. Nuclear, halobial and cellular endosperm. This we'll study in next classes. Now embryo development in dicot. You know that in dicot embryo by the NCERT, this is a dicot embryo. This is a cellular structure developed from zygote. This is a plumule region. This is a radicle. You can say hypocotyle. Radicle. This is a root cap. This position is called cotyledon. This is structure of dicot embryo. Now the monocot embryo is, you can say not monocot embryo, monocot seed. This is a monocot seed. Which having embryo, this portion is embryo. This is a coleoptile. This is a cap portion of plumules. This is a radicle, and this is a coleorhiza, and this portion is called scutellum. Scutellum is similar to the cotyledon. Scutellum is similar to dicot cotyledons, and remaining portion is endosperm. It is persist with seed because this is a monocot. Most of the monocot plant, the endosperm persist with embryo. And this is a aileron layer, that is a protein layer, you can say. Some books written it is a rich proteinaceous parts of the seed. You can say, you can see a rice, if you remove a wrapping of rice appear yellow in color. This yellow is surface of rice is aileron, but we washed away by machine and remove the aileron layer, and that aileron goes into the bran that is used for making oil and so many products like biscuits, etc. So this is a post fertilization event, how the embryo is developed. Now the the ovule develop into seed structure. You can see this is a monocot seed structure is this, and this is a dicot seed. This is a open dicot seed, this is a covering. Here the position of embryo is present, the structure is given, embryo, and this is a two cotyledon, and this is a seed coat. Seed coat and known by another name known as perisperm, and fruit wall is called pericarp. Many questions also arise in medical examination, in board examination, by giving example. How pericarp develop, is this fruit is given, suppose this is a coconut, the upper fibrous part is what, the stony part is what, then the white part that used for consumption, a liquidy part of the coconut is what. This all question is asked in maybe in board examination as well as in medical examination. Now this is a process of fertilization and post fertilization event. Now some other abnormal process we understand in next classes. Thank you.